Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Oh, boy. Joe Biden. We all know Joe Biden's corrupt. We all know this, right? But we just found another racket that he's been running that is so insane. This has got to be a major financial crime. And I want to go through this article. This blew my mind. Okay? And this is a bizarre financial racket that he's running in his personal life. And I want to go through this article, and you guys can let us know in the comments what you think is the racket that he's running here. I have some ideas. I know you Kathy, have some ideas. Listen to this. Joe and Jill Biden, this is the headline, Joe and Jill Biden have been using their Delaware house for fast cash, refinancing the house 20 times with loans totaling $4.2 million since buying the home, which is valued at $350,000.
That's crazy.
They keep refinancing and refinancing. That's the headline. It
doesn't seem normal to me. It doesn't seem like a normal amount of refinancing. You know what I mean? Most people do it maybe 2 times if they own a house a long time.
Yeah.
20 times?
Well,
that's a lot.
What I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read through the article, but it sounds like some kind of money laundering racket to me.
Seems suspicious.
It seems very strange. You know, when you refinance a house, it costs a lot of money, especially when you're talking about, the more expensive the house, the more expensive the fees are. And, sometimes, I've known people that have refinanced, or that people will ask me about refinancing like I'm I don't know, I'm not a financial expert. Why do you think I work so much? I do 2 shows a day. If I was a financial expert, I would just do 1 show a day, I guess, right? But refinancing, you got to ask yourself, when you refinance, is it worth the cost? Because you've got the finance fees, which are a lot of money, thousands of dollars, plus you're starting the loan over, right? And refinancing, banks love to refinance because they make that money and they restart the loan. But anyway, let's go through this.
Yeah.
Joe Biden and First Lady Jill have been using their homes.
It's tough to say.
Yeah, as an ATM, taking out multiple mortgages and refinancing their Delaware properties an astonishing 35 times.
Oh, my
35 times.
That's a lot. Wait, okay, how long have they owned the home?
That'll all be revealed.
Let's do some math here real quick.
It's all in the article. You got to wait till we get to that.
Yeah, let's find out how long they've owned it.
Biden has lived in 2 houses in his home state since 1975. When he bought his first property in Wilmington that he later sold in the late 90s. But records obtained by the Daily Mail show the couple have had a habit of negotiating new mortgage or credit deals on both homes every 17 months.
Oh, that's what I was trying to... Wow.
Every 17 months.
That's strange.
Over the decades, the Bidens...
That's not normal.
No, well, there's something going on. Over the decades, the Bidens have borrowed a total of $6 million on both properties, and there's still an outstanding $541,000 mortgage on their current 3-bed, 4.5-bath Wilmington mansion, nearly 3 decades after they bought it. The constant refinancing raises the questions of why the Bidens, who have a reported net worth of $10 million, needed a constant flow of extra cash. This is nuts. It doesn't make a lot of sense unless they were desperate for cash, says a finance expert. The revelation comes as questions grow about Biden's involvement in his son Hunter's shady business dealings with the Chinese oil giant and other foreign entities. According to the mortgage documents, Biden purchased the current home that they live in. Well, they live in the White House, but the Delaware home is a 4-acre lot for $350,000 in March 96, but have since saddled it with 20 different home credit agreements and mortgages.
Well, that's almost, we got married in 96, so that's 28 years.
Yeah.
We've been married almost 28 years.
Their previous 5-bed, 2.5-bath home in the same town was purchased in 75 for $185,000. They sold it for $1.2 million in 96. Records show the property, now this is the first property. The first property had a total of 15 mortgages attached to it. So, and then the
hell?
Yeah, then you got the 20 on the new one. So this is something they've been doing the whole time. The Bidens
this is like a normal thing they do.
The Bidens also own a summer home on the beach, which they bought in 2017 for $2.7 million.
Yes, that's Seems reasonable considering a president's salary.
The property data suggest that the 46th president and his wife, 73, have needed money fast and have used their home equity as the main source of credit over the years. However, Biden, a career politician, and Jill, a college professor, are estimated to be worth around $10 million. An additional financial records show the couple pulled in an income of $620,000 last year. The first couple released their tax returns and revealed a combined income $619,976 last year.
It's funny how all these liberals own beach homes. They're worried about climate change and the rising seas, but they all live on the beach.
And they go to a lot of other financial things that they're involved in that I don't want to go through. Their debt consists of, something about loans. They got a bunch of loans and everything. Okay, so here's a breakdown of the mortgages, okay? This is insane. The Bidens bought the Wilmington house for $350,000 in 96. And on July 21st, 1997, they took out a mortgage. It goes through all the different mortgages.
A year later.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through all the mortgages, but
I put the article in your Facebook group. If somebody wants to read it, the whole article, it's in Brian's Facebook group. This
would be I don't know, because I don't know about criminal activity. I work very hard and for my money, and that's how you do it where I come from. The Bidens, they're a corrupt political crime family. What I'm wondering is this. There's a couple possibilities. One of them might be a long shot, but I'll save that one for last. One possibility is they take these mortgages, get lump sums of cash to explain away monies that come in when he takes payoffs, right? Like he gets a payoff with a bunch of money.
Oh, I see.
But it's under the table to pay off, right? So he takes out a mortgage to explain the cash that he got in the payoff. That's a possibility.
Yeah. I'd love to know the amount. Does the article go through the amounts of the loans they take?
But they're different amounts. If you add, you got to add them all up over the years. I mean, 400,000, 500,000.
That's a lot.
550,000.
That is okay. So hold on now. So I don't remember. Then
there's a lot of lines of credit. 10,000.
I don't know too much about this because we've never refinanced. But when you refinance, what does that mean exactly? Okay, does that mean you're getting another loan or you're just renegotiating because it's a lower interest rate? Typically, I'm not saying in their case. Typically, why would somebody refinance to get a lower interest rate, right? Or to get a loan?
They've done two things. They've gotten all these mortgages, and they've also, on top of that, gotten lines of credit using the house as collateral. Mostly people refinance either to get a better rate,
right,
or to get some cash out to pay off debts or do renovations or something.
And then in their case, were they doing all of these to borrow against the house to get cash?
Yes.
That's highly suspicious.
Yeah. There's two possibilities.
And then how'd they pay that off every year?
I'm telling you, there's two possibilities.
That's a scheme.
That I can think of. Now, if somebody else has some other ideas, let me know in the comments. The one I just said, that he's taken bribes. We all know Joe Biden takes bribes.
Yeah.
Come on. His whole life is taking bribes. He takes bribes, so they do the refinancing to explain the cash.
Yes.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That's one possibility. The other possibility I can think of is, because this one finance expert, that this is somebody that needs cash fast. Maybe they needed cash for gambling or drugs. Drug dealers and mobsters.
It could be a mix.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a mix. But I think that it's definitely, whatever the reason is, it's definitely a scheme.
It's not legit.
And definitely something they didn't want people to know about, obviously. There's nothing honest about this family.
That's for sure.
It's just amazing to me how the left have portrayed the Trump family when they are completely above the board. And what they do is project what they really know about the Bidens onto the Trumps. They know they're sleaze.
Exactly.
They know what they're all about, but they can't talk about it. So they put it on Trump. That's what they do. I mean, the media are scum.
Well,
they're just pure scum.
Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals: accuse your opponent, accuse your enemy of doing what you're doing.
I don't even. I understand that.
That's their Bible.
But I think it's also a person. I've always felt there's a personality type that's drawn to the Democratic Party.
Yeah, criminals.
And it's somebody that loves power, loves control, and is a pathological liar and lives in their own fantasy world, and they never do anything wrong. They're elitist. They know better than everybody else. All these things apply. And that type of person is who is drawn to that party. That's what they've always been like. And they can never admit they're wrong. It's always somebody else's fault. Somebody else is the bad guy, and they come out squeaky clean. And it's all projection. It's all to project their guilt, their problems, their crimes onto other people to take the attention off themselves.
To me, it could very well be that Hunter got in trouble. Hunter gets in trouble with some pimps, some drug dealers, and they need cash to pay off the pimps and the drug dealers.
No, I think it's more likely your first scenario, because that wouldn't be happening at such a young age. From the 90s, early 90s. I mean, how old was he? Well, I don't know. How old is he now? Is he our age? He's a little younger than us. He's about our age.
He's a little older than us.
A little older. So he would have been, it's possible, but I don't think that they would have done that every 17 months just for him. I just don't think that would have been a habit that they would have done over and over and over again. I think it's more likely that this was some kind of bribery, money laundering, whatever you want to call it, scheme that they used to refinance to cover that up, or to do something with the funds.
Meanwhile, they convict President Trump of 34 fake convictions for something Michael Cohen did.
Exactly. That's what they do.
And they accuse him of fraud with the valuation.
The truth always comes out.
Of Mar-a-Lago, which is a priceless piece of real estate. But Joe Biden takes out, 35 mortgages on his home. Oh, nothing to see here.
And not small amounts.
No,
these are hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells you that if he was getting payoffs, that to me tells you he's been corrupt his whole career. Then he's been using his properties to do this.
Well, Greg Kelly on Newsmax, who's the best.
Somebody's going to look even deeper into this.
Yeah, Greg Kelly on Newsmax, I don't know, about 2 years ago, he found these old interviews. These were TV interviews that Biden had done. They looked to be like local interviews in Delaware when he was in the Senate. And Biden talked about when he got out of law school, he made am I going to go into law or am I going to go into politics? And he went into politics for the corruption. And Biden tells the story about how when he went to the Senate, he tried to get involved in the corruption, and they said, you haven't been here long enough yet. Wow. So he had to put his time in before he could get – I'm not kidding. Greg Kelly broke this like 2 years ago. It's amazing. So anyway, let us know in the comments on whatever platform you're listening to the podcast on, what are the possibilities for him to take over 30 mortgages out on these properties and refinance every 17 months?
Incredible.
That's great. Crazy, because he's had a six-figure salary in the vice presidency and the Senate. He had a pension.
Well, I would imagine in the 90s,
vice presidency.
I don't even know if it was six figures. Might have been 90,000, 80,000 back in the 90s.
Probably about 100, 125 probably.
If that.
In the Senate. Yeah, the House members make less than
but
senators.
She was a professor. I didn't know she ever even taught anything.
No, she got, no.
Did she ever work?
Jill, Jill got that doctorate.
I know, but did she ever teach?
When he was vice president, and she did teach. Okay, so let us know your thoughts on that. Now, I want to share this. Okay, we got the presidential debate coming up on Thursday, and Trump's spokesperson, Carolyn Levitt, was on CNN with, what's her name, Caitlin Hunt? She used to be on MSNBC, and this got really, really crazy. Okay, so let me play this exchange, and then we'll talk about it. They're talking about the debate coming up and how Trump will react, and then this happened.
So it takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently.
We're going to stop this interview if you're going to keep attacking my colleagues.
Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline, thank you very much for your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and speak about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have equal time to Joe Biden when they both join us now later this week in Atlanta for this debate.
That her voice is shaking. She's was very rattled.
Well, fake Tapper, I wonder if fake Tapper is pissed off and embarrassed by this.
He should be.
It made it look like she's his girlfriend or something. Like,
yeah, she got very emotional.
Like, he's a married man. You know what this is? I think I know what this is about, which I'll tell you in a second. Okay, why they're doing this, which is so self-absorbed. This debate with Jake Tapper and everything. What this is about are those Democrat Code Pink ladies going to his house over the weekend, barking all the pro-terrorist stuff.
Yes.
So now Jake Tapper's gotten very self-important, and he's beyond criticism. He's in danger now. People are after him. They're doing this. They're doing that. And they're, I didn't know that reporters needed protection when it comes to people calling them out. Reporters are supposed to be tough.
I think
and be able to take any criticism and come back. They're like stand-up comics.
Well, I think you're right. I think the Code Pink going to his house, I bet CNN is paying for him to have security now at his home.
Yeah.
I promise you. And he feels very victimized and threatened now. And I bet the whole network is on high alert over this. You know how they are.
Well, those were Democrats at his house.
I know, but what I'm saying is they like you said, they're very self-important.
Yes,
and they're probably on high alert.
Yeah.
And they always want to give the impression that Trump people are Nazis and, are attack dogs.
Even though it was Democrats that went to his house.
She just didn't handle it professionally. I just would have said, look, maybe, whatever, but Trump agreed to the debate, so I don't know why you're complaining about it. She could have handled it a lot better instead of completely coming unglued and freaking out and defending him and protecting him.
Well, this thing with Jake Tapper, okay? First of all, I would think that if there was a woman on television that got so personal and weird because somebody attacked me, you'd be like, "What's going on?" It looks like
I'd be like, "She's a little overly emotional over you."
Yeah, exactly. Very strange. And another thing, when we talked about this thing where the liberal Code Pink people went to Tapper's house, like the Antifa went to Tucker's house years ago, I'd forgotten about this at the time, but I'll just tell the Reader's Digest version. But Jake Tapper and his senior staff tried to get me and Laura Loomer arrested at the CNN town hall after the Parkland massacre here in our own community. We live down the street from that school. And so that's our community. I go to the thing, and Jake Tapper and his producer, they tried to get us arrested, and the police officer that was running the detail there knew me from the radio and said, you don't want to do this, it'd be very bad, it'll be all over the radio tomorrow. And what Jake Tapper and his team did is they got these thugs. By the way, I don't want you to think it's racial. They were white. But they got these big security guys to surround me and Loomer.
Right.
And
that fits into being self-important.
They sat around us during the town hall. And then during the commercials, when the cameras weren't on, during the commercials, because it was a live CNN town hall, they would get up and stare at us and get in our face and try to get us to touch them so that they could press charge. It was very bizarre. Jake Tapper, fake Tapper, was what Trump calls him, is a thug. He's a punk and he's a thug and he's a bully. And that was a big wake-up call for me. I knew CNN was bad, but I didn't realize how low-life they were. Now, this thing here, though, with Carolyn Levitt, last time I saw her, she was pregnant. I don't know if she's had her baby or not yet. She's Trump's spokesperson. This is going viral. This was the number one trending thing on Twitter this morning. This is really weird. And, we're talking about the media, very self-important. When I was growing up, these people on television, these anchors were like a big deal, and they were tough, and they didn't take any crap. And if somebody went after them, they gave it back. And now what we have are these really doughboy, metrosexual, self-important hot air balloons that are in media, and they believe, we saw this with when Trump was in his first term, they believe that they're above criticism. The CNN level, right? It's not just CNN, it's all these people at that level in the fake news, mainstream corporate media. They think that they're above everything and everyone, and they are beyond any type of criticism. That's one of the things they didn't like about Trump. But I'll tell you, if I was fake Tapper, I'd be very ticked off at this because He's an anchor on CNN. He's doing this debate.
It makes him look weak.
He doesn't need some girl taking up for him.
Not to be sexist, but even if it was a guy, it would be weird. I would be if weird. I was him, I'd be really, but he won't be because he probably loves being like a victim, but it doesn't make him look tough or professional, like you said, or anything. It just makes him look like, I don't think she said anything that bad. It wasn't that big a deal where this woman had to completely come unglued. It was really weird. I agree with you. If I was his wife, I'd be a little worried. Yeah. I'd be like, why is this woman practically in tears over you? I mean, what's going on? What is this emotional? It was bizarre.
It doesn't look right.
No, she didn't handle it well at all. I mean, if you see the video, you can see her getting visibly rattled.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, I want to talk about Tom Laporta of Laporta Roofing. They used to be Laporta Contracting. Now it's Laporta Roofing. And Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, as of today, this is the first day, is joining as a sponsor of the Brian Craig Show podcast.
Very exciting.
And we want to welcome Tom Laporta and Laporta Roofing to the program. And, Laporta Roofing, they will never sell you a new roof that you do not need. If you just need a simple repair, they'll do it. And that is so unusual. Do you know any other roofing companies that go around and say, we're not going to sell you a new roof unless you really need one? No, they all want to sell you a new roof, except Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Now, if you need a new roof, he'll sell it to you. But if you just need a simple repair, he will do it. And he covers the entire state of Florida, the East Coast, the West Coast, and everywhere in between. He works on every type of structure there is, single-family home, municipal buildings, churches, schools, HOAs, apartment buildings, whatever type of structure there is, he works on it. And, of course, works with every type of roofing
so if
material.
You're in a condo and you guys have to get a new roof, let the HOA know.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we had one of our listeners, he's on an HOA board. Yeah. And they had some roof problems. He had a whole bunch of roofers come out. They all said, you need a new roof.
Oh, of course.
And, depending on the size of the building, that's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Laporta came out. He looked at it. No, you just need some repairs. The guy was blown away.
He's honest, and that's right. And that's really rare, I think, in that that business. But you met his crew, and you said they're all great.
Yeah, they're roofers, but they're also artisans. And I'm actually making a YouTube video following the work they're doing on a home before, during, and then after, which I'll put up on my YouTube channel, and you guys will get to see it. It's absolutely amazing. I'm going to give you Tom Laporta's number at Laporta Roofing. Now, this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. Now, remember, he covers the entire state of Florida, and now it's rainy season, it's hurricane season, it's raining right now. A lot of you are new to Florida. If you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, and this is a very important thing. When there is a hurricane, even if we don't get a hurricane, if we get a tropical storm, even in a tropical storm, there are hurricane level wind gusts, even in a tropical storm. Yes. And what those hurricane winds are doing when they hit is they're looking for an entryway into your home. Yes. And if you've got a loose shingle or loose tiles on your roof, those hurricane force winds, they get in that entryway and boom, it's gone.
I think when you own a home, your roof is probably your most important part of the home, honestly, because if your roof is not in good condition, especially if you live in South Florida where it rains, like you said, a lot and it gets windy and we're in the tropics, it is vital that your roof is in good shape, honestly. So if you're concerned, definitely have him come out and take a look.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you Tom Laporta's number again. This rings directly to Tom's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602 or online, LaportaRoofing.com. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We're going to take a break and be right back. Don't go anywhere. Are you ready to get in shape and stay healthy? To do that, you need the right equipment, and that's what you will find at FM Sports Co. FM Sports Co. have everything you need to build strength, get in shape, jump higher, and run faster. Whatever your fitness goals, they've got what it takes to get you there. From exercise balls and hand grips to pull-up bars, trampolines, treadmills, and more. FM Sports Co. offer commercial quality fitness equipment. That means it will last. Are you training for that 5K? FM Sports Co. has top-notch cardiovascular equipment that's designed to improve endurance and help you go that extra mile, lose weight, and burn calories with a balanced exercise program using a combination of cardio and strength training equipment, and enjoy free shipping on most items with purchases of $100 or more. Visit FM Sports Co. online at fmsportsco.myshopify.com. That's fmsportsco.myshopify.com and start your fitness journey right now. fmsportsco.myshopify.com. Are you a teen or a parent of a teenager? Learn how to unlock the secrets to a successful future with the #1 new release on Amazon from author Ethan Wealthman, Life Skills for Teens. In this must-read and life-changing book, you can discover how to transform your teenage years with essential life skills every teen must master. From prioritizing tasks to managing time effectively, as well as protecting your digital footprint, this book covers it all. It's packed with real-life examples and practical, actionable advice. Life Skills for Teens is your ultimate guide to navigating life's challenges with confidence and ease. Learn how to make smart decisions, build a strong personal brand, and form meaningful relationships. With over 10 practical exercises, as well as exclusive bonuses, Life Skills for Teens is a blueprint for your success. Take control of your future right now and order your copy of Life Skills for Teens from author Ethan Wealthman on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Life Skills for Teens on Amazon. Men, are you tired of looking tired? You can turn your tired eyes into a vibrant and refreshed look with a specially formulated under-eye cream for men at amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. This anti-aging formula is designed to repair and protect your eyes against the common signs of aging. Dark circles, puffiness, and those pesky crow's feet gone. With Meditati, you'll say goodbye to those tired eyes and hello to a youthful appearance. It's packed with peptides, vitamin C, jojoba oil, green tea, CoQ10, and other essential ingredients. This formula will keep your under eyes bright and refreshed. It also keeps your skin hydrated with the highest quality natural and organic ingredients. It's crafted by skincare experts, and this non-greasy, lightweight formula absorbs quickly and efficiently, nourishing the skin around your eyes. So if you're tired of puffiness and wrinkles, go right now to amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. Don't miss out on this chance to give your eyes the care they deserve, because you and your eyes deserve it. Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. Cosplayers, collectors, and anime fans, step into a world where fantasy meets craftsmanship at Fantasy Fur Creation on Etsy. Fantasy Fur Creation on Etsy craft unique, handmade, and artfully designed 3D printed anime merch. Their incredible collection includes items like the Monster Godzilla humidifier figure. It's an essential oil diffuser, dynamic light, and table lamp all in one. It's a unique handmade gift that fits any room's decor. The Ghastly Humidifier Luminous Pokemon decor. This 3D printed aroma diffuser is the perfect decoration and ideal gift for any Pokemon fan. When you visit the shop, make sure to check out the stunning fan art and the on-sale items. There's something magical for everyone. Start shopping right now online at fantasyfurcreation.etsy.com. That's fantasyfurcreation.etsy.com, where fantasy meets craftsmanship. Share the shop on all your social media so your friends can shop at Fantasy Fur Creation too. fantasyfurcreation.etsy.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. This is hilarious, Kathy. This is a panel on CNN, and there's a conservative on. His name's Scott Jennings. He's from Kentucky. and he's on CNN. And of course, CNN support this crazy idea that the United States should not have a southern border, and anyone who wants to come here should be able to come across it.
Nuts.
Now, I go on these cruises. We do our listener cruises every year. I can't get on the ship without a passport. Why do I need documents to spend like 2 hours in Aruba?
I don't understand how they can call the early settlers from Europe colonizers, but they're okay with this.
Yeah, we're being colonized by Latin America.
Isn't this what they're against?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's just doesn't make sense to me.
So listen,
but they're liberals, so they never make sense.
This is hilarious, okay?
They're idiots.
What happens with these leftists in the media, they just talk to each other and it all makes sense. But when they're all feeding off of each other, but when they get somebody in there who knows what's going on, and they sound like idiots. Listen.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, it'll play in a second, guys. Hold on. Here we go.
2/3 of the American people support Donald Trump's policy prescriptions for immigration right now, including a majority of Hispanics in the United States.
Comments? Do you see them as racist and xenophobic comments? he's painting migrants as, being violent. They have violent tendencies, right? And of course, dehumanizing them to being entertainment for the rest of us.
Is he painting them as being violent? Would Lake and Riley think they were violent? Would Rachel Marin think they were violent? Would Jocelyn Nungare in Texas think they were violent? How about the girl that was raped in broad daylight in New York City? How about the girl that was kidnapped in Missouri? Yeah, there are violent people in the country. And yeah, Donald Trump uses colorful language. But the bottom line is immigration is killing Joe Biden's campaign right now. This is why he has a low approval rating. This is why Donald Trump is honing in on this. And people are responding to it, and people are fed up with it. And if you want to call 2/3 of the country racist or xenophobic because they're in a mood right now that they want this fixed, yes, agree. By all means, go on. It's not.
Okay. And do you notice that CNN anchor
her to the woodshed?
She shut up. She didn't say a word.
Yeah.
It's like she forgot about these people. Three of them were killed.
They're not going to do well defending rapists and murderers. And the truth of the matter is, and Trump talks about this, Venezuela, their crime rate has gone down 70%. In fact, he always jokes that we should have the rallies in Venezuela now because it's safer.
Yeah.
Because they have brought all of their criminals. It's like Australia when they England when they shipped all their criminals to Australia. It was a penal colony. That's what we've become.
Yeah, that's right.
We've become a penal colony now
yes.
for the South Americans, and it's true. But anything Trump is for, they're going to attack, even if it's logical and reasonable and makes sense. They are not going to do well defending these people. It's not doing well. And this guy told her, he said it's not helping him, and he knows they want to help Joe Biden, and they're not helping him at all. They're making it worse.
What's happened is, these god-awful things. He mentioned 4. 3 of the awful. 4 names that he mentioned they were raped and murdered, and then of course, sadly, the girl who survived was raped. Just terrible story in New York at a park that President Trump used to ride his bicycle by when he was a little boy. And
there's so many more we don't hear about, Brian.
But the media, if we didn't have the internet, if there wasn't the new media that we have, these would be local stories. They wouldn't become national stories, and the media have this thing, and it's very interesting. CNN is the worst about this. They believe that if it has not been on CNN, nobody knows about it. And I remember once, I can't remember what the story was or what the issue was. It's unimportant, but there was a conservative guest on talking about Trump. This was when Trump was in his first term, and there was something going on. And I remember the anchor said, CNN has not reported that yet. So, excuse me. So
they're snobs.
So I cannot allow that on the air because CNN has not reported to confirm that. So they're so arrogant.
Well, they've been around the longest. They were the originators of cable news.
The New York Times and these things have been around.
No, but they've been the originators of cable news. They came around in the late 70s.
The networks have been around longer.
But what I'm saying is that's why they're stuck up over Fox, MSNBC. That's why they have an attitude. because they've been here the longest. I mean, I'm not saying it's justified. I'm just saying that's how they think. That they're better than everybody. They're CNN. Like, they have their thing. This is CNN.
They
Who gives a damn?
that everyone's watching them, and no one's watching them.
Not anymore.
And I don't watch any of this stuff either. You know, I play these sound bites from CNN or MSNBC. I don't watch that crap. I see it online. I hear someone talk about it. I'll see it on Twitter or something, and then I'll pull the audio up and play it for you. But I don't watch any of this stuff.
I think especially after Trump with fake news and after people have realized how much they've been lied to, CNN's really in trouble. I've read 2 articles now that Anderson Cooper's on his way out. They pay him too much, and he's very upset that he's not doing the debate.
Yeah.
And he's like really pissed about it. They're losing money because nobody is watching them anymore, even Democrats, because I think a lot of them are pissed off because they told them so many lies about Trump.
Yeah.
And I see all the time people online and in the news say, I used to be a Democrat and now I realize that they were lying and this and that, and I'm really pissed about it. I mean, you know what I mean? So it's good that people are more informed and let them have their little snob fest.
Well, CNN, I think most people agree it's deep state. It's not a real news organization.
Probably always has been.
CIA. And I was just thinking over the weekend when some of these things were going on over at CNN. CNN, they were around for a while, but they were kind of a joke. They were around for many years, and they were kind of a joke for about 10 years or so until the Gulf War won. And the Gulf War, CNN were the only people. This before the war started. You know, when Saddam Hussein took Kuwait, between the time of Saddam Hussein taking Kuwait and then the coalition forces pushing him out of Kuwait was a long time. It seemed like it's been 91's a long time ago, like a year, right? 6 months or a year. It was a long time. CNN were the only people that were embedded in Iraq and Kuwait prior to military action against Iraq during that invasion in 1991. And they were promoting a lot of stuff that was really weird. And what CNN was doing then was the work of the deep state to push the war. Now, I meant to play this in the first segment, and I forgot. Okay? Sorry, guys. This is a montage on Twitter of Jake Tapper talking about Trump.
Oh, yes. Which is what Levitt was talking about.
Yeah. She said, just go online. Just Google it.
Now that's going to go viral.
And this is what she was talking about.
Yeah.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. Donald Trump, a couple times over the weekend, referred to immigrants from South America, Africa, and Asia. He did not mention Europe. South America, Africa, and Asia as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, which it's not hyperbole. That does very directly echo Adolf Hitler's language before World War II. To open up a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf,
oh my God,
you would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
Okay. Now, when Trump was talking about poisoning the blood, by the way, his daughter and his grandchildren are Jews. Okay.
He didn't mention Europeans because they're not coming through the border.
When he was talking about the poisoning of blood, he was talking about the drugs, the fentanyl. They're poisoning people with the fentanyl. Is what he was talking about. Exactly. Everybody knows that's what he meant. Yeah. Trump's talked about this many times.
Yeah, he wasn't talking about people having interracial relationships.
See, that's what happens.
That's where Jake Tapper's head is.
That's what happens
reveals a lot.
When you are consumed with hate. When you're consumed with hate about someone or a group, you're just irrational.
Well, and also I think when somebody says something like that, it says a lot about where their head is at. Okay, that's their interpretation. Yeah. So what does that tell you about Jake Tapper? I just sent you this article in the Daily Mail. They say Trump has narrowed down his VP list to 3 people.
Yeah, and Trump had said that his vice presidential pick may be at, or probably will be at, the debate on Thursday night.
The 3 are J.D. Vance, which would be fantastic. Marco Rubio and Doug Burgum. I've said all along it's going to be Doug. I think it will be, but I really like Byron Donalds. And I was kind of hoping for him, but maybe he doesn't want to do it. But I just can't see J.D. Vance leaving the Senate. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he figures that's his path to be president. Marco Rubio, I think, would definitely do it because he definitely wants to be president someday. He's already ran for president, and that might be his only way in. But I always said it's going to be Doug Burgum. That's my pick. I think he and Trump are a lot alike in the way they view things. They're businessmen. I think they speak the same language, and that's who I think it's going to be. But they say in the Daily Mail it's down to those three guys.
Well, J.D. Vance, the Senate, we don't even have the majority in the Senate. We don't know how well we're going to do. The Senate is very hard to get the majority back. Only a third of it's up.
We need Vance there.
And out of that third, how many of them are at risk? And I think it's risky taking Rubio or J.D. Vance
agree with you.
Out of the Senate. It's just too risky.
I agree with you on
that. Now, if it was Rubio, we'd get another Republican in there.
I think so. In Miami, Miami's pretty red now.
I'll tell you, though, what would be a smart move, okay? If Marco Rubio is the pick and he has to leave the Senate, Ron DeSantis could appoint himself to be senator and replace Marco Rubio. He could appoint himself to be...
Until the election.
Well, there'd be an election. I don't know. Yeah, he just got reelected, so he's got like 4.
He might run for Senate, though.
I don't think...
DeSantis.
He's not electable. I don't think...
Well, I agree with you, but that doesn't mean he won't run.
No, I don't think we would have a special election. This has happened a couple times where senators have moved on and governors have appointed people and they finish the term. I don't ever remember having a special Senate election in Florida. So he could have like 3 years, 4 years in the Senate, DeSantis.
Well, I don't...
I don't trust him.
You can't trust anybody. I mean, in politics.
No, that's true.
But tell us what you guys think. I'm going to put a poll up too. Since the Daily Mail is reporting that he has narrowed it down to those 3, that tells me, though, that those three are interested. If he has narrowed it down to them, that tells me that they want to do it. Don't you think?
Well,
it's getting close. Don't you think if he's narrowed it down?
We don't.
Why would he narrow it down to people that aren't interested?
We don't know that he's narrowed it down to those people.
Read the article. That's what it says.
I know. Unless I hear Trump say it, I don't 100% believe it. But I do know that when he was in Philadelphia and he went to that Philly cheesesteak place and he was asking people to throw out names.
Yes.
And I heard J.D. Vance from a lot of people. There were a lot of names being thrown around. I don't remember hearing Burgum, and I don't remember hearing Marco Rubio. And Trump takes what people say. He takes that and says, that's interesting. You know what I mean?
J.D.
That could influence him.
I have said that I think it's going to be Burgum. I don't think he's the most exciting person. If he chose J.D. Vance, that would be an exciting choice. He's in Ohio. He's young. And that, to me, out of the 3, would garner the most excitement in the MAGA movement, I feel, because he's young, he's energetic, and he defends Trump a lot, things like him. But I agree with you; it's risky to take a senator when we have such.
And he's young,
know what I mean,
Kathy. He's younger than you think. He just looks older than he is because he's got the beard.
Yeah, being a senator is such a great job. I don't know why anybody would want to leave it personally at such a young age.
It's a lifetime thing.
We're going to find out soon, though. I still say Burgum, but we will see. Kristi Noem, I think, had a good shot, but she blew that one. That was nuts.
So Kamala Harris's husband gave an interview, and I'm very suspect of married couples that have different last names.
Yeah,
his name's Doug Emhoff, and I understand sometimes somebody has like a famous name, so they'll hyphenate it so they can keep the famous name, But I don't know why she has a different last name than her husband. But he gave an interview, and let me play some of it. He's very concerned. His name's Doug Emhoff.
Oh, well, we need to all worry then.
He's the first gentleman, and he's very worried.
She's the toughest person out there.
She's tough.
Oh, she's so tough. It just bounces right off of her.
And as for second gentleman Doug Emhoff, he is not California dreaming. Do you ever think, well, You know, if things don't work out, we could always move back here and be just fine.
We're going to win this election. We have to win this election. Literally, our country and our world depends on us winning this election. That's what's going to happen.
Our country and our world depend on.
He sounds really stupid.
Biden and Harris winning re-election. Yeah,
he has a very. I mean, I know he's older. He's older than us, but his voice sounds kind of young. And he sounds like a 25-year-old when he talks. He has a very limited vocabulary and is not a man of very profound words.
No, he's not.
He sounds like an idiot.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, that's all he said.
Yeah.
I'm worried. Our country, our world's in trouble.
Yeah.
That's so vague and just meaningless.
And what world is he on?
Well, they're in their own world.
This country is being destroyed right now.
Who gives a damn what Doug Emhoff thinks? I mean, this is just what
stupid.
The hell is the point of even interviewing this guy?
It's pretty stupid.
And I don't she's tough. Well, maybe she's probably tougher than him by the way he sounds, yeah.
You know, Kamala Harris has not said 20 words since she's been vice president, and the few that she said have been stupid.
Yeah, they're idiots, the two of them. They're not very intelligent.
There really are never vice presidents that amount to much of anything. Vice presidents are always behind the scenes. They don't really do much. You know,
how many become presidents?
Not as many as you think.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of people think they all become president. Al Gore didn't become president.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
You know, and you know, they don't all become.
But Joe Biden did, and George Bush the first. They were two VPs of our lifetime.
That's correct.
And Ford.
That was
president.
Different. He was never elected. That was a whole nother thing.
Right.
That was a deep
No, I know, but he was a vice president who became president.
Yeah,
though.
but that was a whole nother thing.
No, I know, but I'm thinking, are there any others in our lifetime?
In our lifetime, no. But if you're a little older, Johnson, you know, because of Kennedy's assassination, you know, Truman because Roosevelt died. Okay.
Yeah,
Nixon,
it's like almost by default.
Nixon became president, but it was like years and years later.
Right.
Okay. It was, you know, so yeah. But if you go through history, most of them are forgotten. And if you start with Kamala Harris and go backwards and start naming vice presidents, you'll do really good until you get to Nixon, and then you're going to fade away.
She'll never become president. She'll never become anything. She'll be on the board of some woke company or, you know, some BET thing. I mean, she's just awful.
She'll head up like the Kamala Harris Center for Racial Social Justice Reform or something. Yeah.
She's never going to become president.
Well, they're teasing her with the idea that she'll become the governor of California. I don't think so. You know, I'll tell you why. Everyone knows she was Willie Brown's girlfriend. She openly dated Willie Brown, who was a married man, and that's pretty low life. She would go to events with Willie Brown as his date. Sometimes his wife would be there. And
maybe they were having a threesome.
Yeah, I doubt it. No,
Serious.
The wife. No, he had a lot of girlfriends. But
maybe she was into it.
The Pelosi family run a lot of California Democrat politics, right? Newsom, they're all in the same family. And Nancy Pelosi is as much of a snob as you can possibly be, and she's not going to let Willie Brown's girlfriend be her governor. There's just no way.
No.
There's just no way. So it's Nancy's never going to allow that to happen at all. Now, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, oh boy, we've only just begun. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Take a thoughtful and meaningful journey with author Gregory Roller in the book 40 Poems for 40 Years, available on Amazon. In this must-read book of poetry, author Gregory Roller shares words forged in the desert of rebellion, disillusionment, and despair, whether you're in the desert of desolation or the springs of renewal. These powerful words will encourage you to persevere through life's challenges and to rejoice in its victories, knowing that each day brings you closer to home. 40 Poems for 40 Years is available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook on Amazon. 40 Poems for 40 Years makes a great gift. It's also a perfect addition to your book club. Embrace the wisdom and resilience captured in this remarkable book. 40 Poems for 40 Years from author Gregory Roller on Amazon. Order your copy right now and let the journey inspire you. From authors A.W. Guerra and Kelly C. Hogan comes Second Strike, Danger Close, the second book in their explosive trilogy, now available on Amazon. 1 year after a devastating terrorist attack on the United States, retired Delta Force member Luke Ellis and college freshman Annie Dedham are back. Together, they embark on a high-stakes, cross-country mission to prevent global war between the United States and China. With the help of a self-aware AI, Luke and Annie face off against Chinese special forces and a sinister AI. But the AI may be under the influence of an even darker force. As the clock ticks down, sacrifices must be made. Will Luke, Annie, and the AI be enough to stop impending war? Find out when you read Second Strike, Danger Close, from authors A.W. Guerra and Kelly C. Hogan. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Don't miss out on this heart-pounding sequel. Order your copy right now. Have you ever heard that laughter is the best medicine? You'll find out how true that is with your weekly Therapy podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Host Tell and Anne-Marie, your not-so-typical therapist and nurse practitioner duo, have a flair for ADHD and life's hilarities. They'll make you laugh, cry, and maybe even rethink some of your life choices. And that's just in one episode. And no topic is off limits. Tell and Anne-Marie discuss everything from gaslighting, daily life with ADHD, and relationships. Add your weekly Therapy podcast to your podcast playlist, available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can catch the video podcast on YouTube. Don't just cope, laugh, learn, and sip some therapy. It's therapy with a twist. Share the podcast on all your social media so your friends can tune in too. Your weekly Therapy podcast. Start listening right now. In a world that's filled with so much stress, how would you like to find a gift that heals the soul? You can at the Etsy shop, S Tarot Store. S Tarot Store on Etsy is proud to present Masterpiece. Masterpiece is the most beautiful tarot deck in the world. It's the perfect blend of tarot tradition and cutting-edge AI tech. Masterpiece was created by a team of illustrators, designers, AI experts, and planners. It's a modern remake of the classic Rider-Waite Tarot. Each of the 78 cards features stunning hand-drawn artwork, refined through dozens of composite processes and enhanced with vibrant colors. Each card in the Masterpiece Tarot deck is unique, maintaining the rich tradition of tarot while offering a fresh new perspective. It's perfect for collectors, readers, and anyone seeking a touch of magic in their lives. The Masterpiece Tarot deck is available exclusively in the S Tarot Store on Etsy, online at etsy.com/shop/S Tarot Store. Order your Masterpiece Tarot deck right now at etsy.com/shop/S Tarot Store. S Tarot Store on Etsy. Gifts that heal your soul.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us on. You know, this god-awful story of the 12-year-old girl in Texas who was raped and murdered by the two illegals. This is insane. Listen to this. One of the two illegal immigrant suspects charged with murdering the 12-year-old little girl has had his bail set at $10 million during his first court appearance.
Jeez.
Why is this guy getting bail? Why? And you may say, well, $10 million. You don't think there's some left-wing lunatic wokesters that wouldn't put this bail up for this guy?
Liberals love criminals because they're criminals.
Exactly.
They sympathize.
Remember when Kamala was raising money to bail people out of jail? Believe me, these people on the left are such true believers about this lunacy at the southern border.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me at all if one of them came forward and put up the bail for this guy. Somebody that does something like that should not be getting bail.
Brian, these are people that owned, bought, and bred slaves.
That's correct.
They are not mentally sound people. They've always been mentally ill. Like I said, it's the type of person drawn to that party. okay? And they have an amazing talent of convincing a lot of people that they're normal and that they're the sane ones when they're really crazy and
That's true.
And not rational.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
look at their actions. Look what they do. Look what they allow. It's insane to me.
Well, let me give you an example. This is I want to play this. This is from one of the Sunday shows.
But not surprising.
The CBS Sunday show with Margaret Brennan, who's a real weirdo. And I remember she was the White House correspondent for CBS when Obama was president. And I remember I watched Obama's last official press conference at the White House, and she was sitting in the front row grinning ear to ear like
I remember.
And I thought it was so weird. And she's married to a Syrian guy. And it's very strange. She's whiter than me and all American looking girl and everything, and she's married to this Muslim guy from Syria, which is very strange. So I thought maybe that Muslim thing is why she was so goo goo gaga over Obama. I don't know. She's like that girl in Soul Man with C. Thomas Howell that dated all the different ethnicities and everything else. Remember that throughout the movie?
Yeah, that was funny.
So anyway, Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation, she had a panel on, and they're talking about the illegals and such. Listen to this.
Day one that current President Biden was elected, he immediately, by the stroke of a pen, undid everything that President Trump had done in closing the border. We had security at the border. We were vetting the people that wanted to come in. And with the stroke of a pen, day one, he opened the border. He opened the doors without any vetting process. So it was his choice.
Yep.
He has to take responsibility for that. He and his administration.
Exactly.
You do know that there is vetting that border officials do when they encounter someone. They do. I've been to the federal facilities. When someone is detained, when they are captured, when they cross illegally, they are taken into federal custody, and those agents do vet people. The success of that vetting may be in question.
Oh, wow.
The efficacy of it, but they are. If someone sneaks in undetected, then they're definitely not vetted.
Well, that's the problem. Oh, what an idiot.
That's I think maybe they're doing the vetting in reverse. When they find out you're a rapist murderer, okay, you're clear, you can come in.
Yeah.
If you're law-abiding, you got to go back.
I mean, that's the problem. Millions are sneaking in by her own definition. And what about all the drugs and everything else coming through? I mean, Biden won't own any mistakes he's made. He won't change anything. He won't reverse anything. And a lot of people are saying that's a problem for him. I mean, the first time you hear Democrats openly saying that he has problems and he needs to fix them, and if he doesn't fix them, he's in trouble.
Well, this thing about vetting, that's a joke. They're not vetting. I mean, come on. First off, even if they wanted to, there's so many people coming here. The system doesn't have the ability to vet this many people. And vetting isn't asking a question. Vetting involves doing some background checks to find out who these people are. They're not doing any of that. But these are true believers. The reason I'm playing this is I want to just share how these are true believers where they could put up the bail for this illegal rapist murder.
It's almost like a fetish.
It is.
It's almost like a fetish.
This is Simone Sanders on MSNBC over the weekend. I've played this clip a couple times, but I think it's important.
What do you tell the parents of those people, those young girls who were killed? This is absurd. The preponderance of these people, Michael, are male.
But what is the difference between an illegal immigrant who unfortunately engages in that activity?
And we don't like that. I want to be clear. We don't use the term illegal. So undocumented individuals.
They're illegal aliens.
Undocumented individuals.
Michael Steele is pathetic.
Well, Simone Sanders
He is a pathetic man.
I want you to understand, they're talking about the rapist murderers of this 12-year-old little girl in Texas. And Simone Sanders, who used to work at the Biden White House, she's on MSNBC now. Simone Sanders here is concerned that people might say something negative about the rapist murderer of the 12-year-old little girl in Texas.
Yeah, it's just like I said, they're not going to do well defending these people.
But they're doing it.
And I love how she tells Michael Steele, we don't use that term, meaning you need to understand your place and that you're not allowed to say that. And then he quickly corrected himself because he has no balls at all. And he said, oh, yes, we don't use. I mean, he's supposed to be a Republican.
That's right.
This guy, he just wants to save his job. She basically was warning him, we don't use that term. And if you use it, you're going to be kicked off this network and not make your $200,000 a year.
Oh, they pay him more than that.
Yeah. So he'll say anything. You got to understand these pundits, a lot of them have no conviction and they'll say anything to keep their job. They pay them very well. And that's why they pay them so well.
You know,
they say what they're supposed to say.
Catherine, we were talking during the commercial. You may have seen this story. It's about Amazon Prime. Matthew Modine is out there attacking Amazon because Amazon Prime, they altered the movie poster for Full Metal Jacket. And Full Metal Jacket, if you're not familiar with the movie, you should go watch it. It's about the Vietnam War and boot camp.
Very good.
And my dad, who went to boot camp, Marine Corps boot camp at Parris Island, where this movie takes place in 1968, he told me that the part of the movie in the boot camp is 100% realistic of what boot camp was like when he went there.
Yeah.
He said all the stuff in Vietnam, that's all BS. But the boot camp stuff is real. That's what it used to be like.
It's crazy.
And the drill instructors could hit them and everything else. But anyway, what Amazon has done is they've taken off of the helmet that Matthew Modine's wearing. It says "Born to Kill."
Yeah.
And they took that off. I guess they used computer stuff and they took it off. And Matthew Modine's out there attacking it. You know, that's a big part of that movie because the Matthew Modine character, he has "Born to Kill" on his helmet, and he also wears a peace symbol pin on his uniform.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where a colonel or a general in Vietnam come up to him and said, "What's going on?" He got this peace symbol, but it says "Born to Kill." And I can't remember if it was a colonel or a general. He tells him, "Take that peace symbol off." You know, it's a part of the movie. It's a part of the storyline.
On the poster,
of the movie.
the peace pin is on the helmet, as well as "Born to Kill."
It might be in the movie too. I haven't seen the movie in a long time.
Yeah, I mean that it's called irony.
Yeah. Okay,
you have a guy who's fighting for peace, but to obtain the peace,
he has to kill.
You have to kill people. I mean, that's how war is, right? That's how they justify it, or this is how we get peace through murder. I mean, that's just World War II obviously was a war that we had to get involved in, and we had to stop Hitler. I mean, it was horrible what was going on. But every other war after that, I think, has been complete BS.
Pretty much.
And a money-making. Like now, Russia is threatening us because 4 Russians were killed in some strike that we were responsible for. Yeah, American weapons. So, what's the media? How are they going to spin this when they said we'd have World War III under Trump? And now, literally, Putin is threatening us. I mean, what happens if he joins up with China and he already met with the leader of North Korea and they do something?
Well,
it's frightening.
The Uniparty, the Republican...
Then we're at war officially.
The Republican and Democrat establishment in Washington want World War III because it's financially very lucrative, just like the Vietnam War
And
was.
I think they want it before the election.
Yeah, well, they better hurry then because it's almost here. I mean, we're 5 months away.
They can get a war going pretty quickly.
This whole idea, they get what happened recently, about 2 weeks ago, the Biden administration gave Ukraine the okay to use American weapons and fire them into Russia. Okay? We talked about this time. I said, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they want to do that.
And there's no way that we don't have massive numbers of U.S. troops inside Ukraine. Ukrainians speak Ukrainian. Some of them speak Russian, not English. And all of the major weaponry is so computerized today, it's all in English.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to use it. Most of their guys don't know how to read it or speak it. We have a lot of guys over there that probably are doing the strikes. We probably have our guys are probably firing the rockets into Russia.
Probably.
If they're not actually pushing the button, they're right there telling them how to do it so they can have like a degree of separation.
No, we're involved. We're very involved. We're funding it and we have people there. We're very involved. You never really see it on the news or anything about it at all. Sometimes I watch the nightly news at 6:30, and I don't mind it with Lester Holt or David Muir.
I don't like any of that crap.
Well, it's so quick with the stories. There's not a lot of spin or talking heads really at all. They just kind of do a recap of all the news going on. So I don't mind it as much. But I rarely see, I don't watch it every day, but when I do, I don't see anything that's going on over there at all. It's a lot about weather and climate change and that kind of stuff.
That's pretty left-wing stuff.
It is, but, that's the way it is. I mean, or stuff about politics. But I don't see anything about updates on what's going on over there or anything.
Well, I'll tell you this. It pains me to say this, but when it comes to the war in Vietnam, Oliver Stone was right. I mean, he always talked about how it was about selling helicopters and ammunition. Think about how much money.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's why we got into it. It was they all made money off of it.
Think about how much money was made just off shoestrings for all the soldiers' boots, right? I mean, there's so much money involved in these things.
They saw during World War I and II how lucrative these wars were, especially World War II. And that's why they just keep these wars going.
That's exactly right.
It's really a disgrace. And somebody had left a comment. I like to read comments in these news articles. I was reading an article on some publication, and somebody left a comment how Trump made a comment how he's to take his shirt off to show his wounds.
Yeah.
Right? So
it was one of his speeches this week.
Yeah. So somebody made a comment about him comparing himself to Jesus and how people in MAGA are going to burn in hell, right? Going to burn in hell. And I responded, I said, we're going to burn in hell. I said, Biden is funding 3 wars. How many people have died? How many people have died from drug overdoses from the border or have been raped or murdered? I mean, how much blood is on his hands, on your party's hands?
Exactly.
Talk about hell. I mean, give me a break. It's incredible how these people totally ignore what their party is doing. And then I said, not to mention all the abortions you've been promoting, millions and millions of babies that have died over the decades. And we're the ones going to hell? Give me a break. These people live on another planet.
A liberal commented on one of our podcast episodes that we put up on YouTube. By the way, the Brian Craig Show podcast is on all podcast platforms. We also upload it to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. But people listen to episodes, weeks and months, sometimes even years later.
Yes,
so people
we're very popular.
Yeah, people leave comments on podcasts that go back years, and I read. But this one was not that long ago. A liberal left a comment on our episode talking about the New Jersey rally with that huge turnout, and they said that the video and the pictures are fake.
Yes.
That those crowds were from a concert the week before. Not Trump. We watched it live.
They convinced themselves.
We watched it live on Right Side Broadcasting.
Yeah.
What do? They put them in digitally live?
Yeah, I guess so.
Trump was talking to no one on the beach, and they just
these
people are out of their minds.
Yeah, they are. Because they can't handle the truth, like Jack Nicholson said. They can't handle the truth.
Yeah. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And remember, you Patreon supporters, visit the Patreon page. You have access to commercial-free editions of all the podcast episodes. And Kathy and I put a lot of content up there that you see nowhere else.
And there's a chat, too. We can chat with you, and you can message us anytime. It just gives you a different level of access.
That's correct. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, John, Paulette, Carlos, Mike P, Macho, Wesley, Nick, Rick, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, and Christy R. These are our top Patreon supporters. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. You just go to that link, and it will walk you through how to become a Patreon supporter.
Yeah, it helps the show. We're always upgrading. He just did an upgrade on his laptop that Emily helped him with, and we're really always trying to make the show better, and we do spend a lot of time every day researching things, reading articles, preparing for the show. It takes Brian like a good hour when the show is over to edit the show, get it up on the platforms. Then we go in the chat every night. So, we really appreciate your support, and even, just watching is supportive, but we appreciate any extra support because we do spend a lot of time every day to make this show what it is. And we do get a good, my stepmother went on the cruise and she was so excited because a bunch of people went up to her saying how much they liked me on the podcast. And she was so excited about it. Yeah. It was really cute. And she's like, Kathy, all these people come up and they really love the show and the podcast and you and Brian together. And she just thought that was so great. And so that really made me feel good to hear that. So any support we really do appreciate, but we really do try to make the show as informative as possible and upgrade equipment and do as much as we can.
Yeah. Now, one last thing I want to mention. The Mighty Maga Lions, remember, every time you purchase a Mighty Maga Lion, available at mightymagalion.com, we make a donation to the Trump campaign.
Yep, I've made 3 donations so far.
That's correct. So go to mightymagalion.com, order your Mighty Maga Lion, and when you do that, you're also donating to the Trump campaign.
That's right, and getting an adorable lion with a MAGA hat.
That is correct. All right, we are out of time for today. We will be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. We will talk to you next time.